I wish I could have some action to help me with my case. All right, so hello everyone. This is again, Sergeant De Leon, retired 2014. I am making these podcasts or posts and learning as I go along to get somebody to help advocate for me to get the care I need through the VA. Now, that's a wide statement. That's a wide statement that I'm making there. But if can, you can refer to some of my posts that I have already posted. I'm doing a post every day to combat the lack of advocacy that I am not receiving. Um, I'm supposed to be able to reach out to the powers that be to help me move what I am claiming forward and along to get it to a point where I have the fundamentals of getting care, health care through the VA, right? So there's a problem with that. So if you refer back to my post, you'll see and catch up to what my claim actually is. So today, I believe today is Taco Tuesday. I'm not sure, but um, I have I go through a bunch of stuff before I get on to these posts. I think about a lot of things, and and I go through this stuff every day. Every day I do this. I battle with myself, thinking, um, why is it this way? Why is it that way? What if I would have done this? Well, and so I do this every day. Okay, every day. It's almost as though I'm trying to find the holy grail to satisfy people that are wanting me to do something miraculous, like, right? Well, I'll tell you what's going to be miraculous. What are we entering right now? We are entering the November election, right? So the midterms, and I want to shake the tree a bit. All right, I want to shake up this tree a little bit because if you don't get serious with what's going on, then no one's going to pay attention to it. All right, and when you're dealing with uh, people that have the authority, they have privileges to to um, to address things as need be. Okay, and so I'm going to try to find my authority. All right, I have to have some sort of authority as a combat veteran that's not getting care through the VA. I have to have something, right? And now that the midterms are coming up, I wonder if I could shake this tree enough to try to get some of the people that are supposed to be addressing my issue. Because see, it's not when somebody like your elected officials address a claim that you're having, it's not only they're not only addressing a single person, they're usually addressing a wide range of people. Because um, I'm sure I'm not the only one, right? But right now, I haven't heard a lot of anything going on with veterans. And it's probably good for them because they don't want anything else on their plate, right? Veterans sort of been quiet. There are some things going on, but overall, I haven't heard much of anything. I mean, I have news coming in through my phone. I see it on TV. I just haven't heard much of anything. What I am seeing is a lot of organizations, they're recalibrating, so to speak, their organization, like Wounded Warrior Program. I can see that they're changing things up a bit. And I use the word change because it is a process. It's not people. I already told you folks, this is what I believe in. People don't change, they learn. Okay? And obviously, in my case, people have learned to find a way to dismiss my situation. All right? And when you hold all the cards, then it's that much more easier to do it because you have support. I have no support. Okay. Now I'm not talking about just people in general. I'm talking about, organization or an advocate that works for whatever organization. I don't have anyone. And usually that is not a good sign. All right. Because um, one, and an important point. All right, that somebody like the Wounded War, like an organization like the Wounded Warrior Program, okay, they have interest along with the VA. They have people that are they have Wounded Warrior Program has people sitting in the VA. All right, they're that big of an organization. They're that important of an organization. They receive funds through the government, the federal government, the state, whatever, to help veterans. So the VA picks up on it, and they sort of, scratch each other's back. So that right there alone, and that's just one organization. They all sort of want to they get into this, and in hindsight, what happens is it doesn't help somebody like me because they can't exactly turn their back and start talking negative against the people they're working with, right? So if they were not tied to the VA and they decided to operate solely on the funds of the people and not have any ties to programs associated with the VA or other programs that the VA has, then I would have a better chance at getting involved with them. And they may take a chance with me. But at this point, there are several organizations that have all the cards, right? The Wounded Warrior Program is one of them. I can't reach out to them. A lot of people are saying, well, what about the Wounded Warrior Program? Again, if you are jumping on my podcast and you hear what's going on with my case, respectfully, you need to catch up. Okay? And I just got through pointing out, and this is an important point, that I cannot reach out to somebody like the Wounded Warrior Program, which I have already done. Every organization that you have in mind, I've done it. I've even participated in doing some hand cycling when I was able to use both arms. Both of my arms, and that was the Paralyzed Veterans of America. So I was trying to get in through another way, to get exercise, get into a program, and get help at the same time. Well, all the organizations that I'm trying to get into, they have a big hand, right? They got a big hand around the country. They are somehow affiliated and not affiliated business wise, I think they're just affiliated as, like I said, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. And so, they're a good referral. And so the VA uses them as long as they stay in line, right? And that's the same thing with smaller organizations. I was involved in an organization called Team Red, White, and Blue. Okay, what I liked about that was it was more of a grassroots, immediate. There were people there. There was engagement. Okay, but again, um, the founder um, has to take care of his business with the 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 organization that he has created. So it's better to tie yourself into somebody like the VA, because where else are you going to get the veterans that need assistance, right? So he can't exactly turn his back on them and help somebody like me, right? He can do the minimum. He can reach out and say, well, and so if he does the minimum, I don't need the minimum. I'm advanced past the minimum because I have already been engaged with them. So I'm stuck here. Like I said, it's a purgatory. I can't rely and depend. I can't put any of my eggs into a basket like Paralyzed Veterans America, because I got harsh words that I believe I need to use. Okay, my back's against the wall with this issue. I mean, it's like I said, it's been a lot of anguish going through trying to get the proper attention. And so right now, during what's going on are elections. So I want to see, I'm going to try to, and I need your guys' help as well with this. I want to extend my, or try to find my my authority. What can I do um, to advocate for myself and get uh, the the best possible attention for what I'm claiming? And what I'm claiming is not far fetched, people. This is in line with what what I'm supposed to be doing, right? This isn't as though my case is something that um, you know is a has nothing to do with the military, has nothing to do with what's going on. I mean, everything I am doing, claiming, is directly related to why I'm claiming it. It's fundamental. It's a fundamental, basic claim that is being dismissed. All right. So I want to find out what I can do during this term and see if I poke it a little bit, will I get somebody to contact me? Like Paul Gosar, our elected officials, Debbie Lesko, let's go, Mark Kelly, you know, and our governor, Doug Duce, and some other ones, all of our elected representatives. They don't want any negativity, especially right now. All right. But when you give somebody no choice to, um, but to advocate for themselves, I'm not a professional at advocating for myself, folks. This is stuff that people go to school for. This is stuff that people get a career in. I'm doing it because I need to do it to get the health care to manage my disability. So it's not a pleasure. I'm not getting on here on the podcast because I want to get I want to be I want to be this podcaster, and people, oh, this guy is a podcaster, it's awesome. No, I what I need is about as fundamental as you can get. All right, and this is bothersome. That's why it bothers me so much. Is that um, it's something that could be resolved. It's something that can be addressed, and it has not for 8 years, 8 to 10 years. And I always say 8 to 10 years because of the margin of error there. All right, nobody knew in the beginning what was going on, and that's fair, right? So I want to know what I can do here. All right, and I need people to help me out. So I want to reach out to, by the end of the week, I want to reach out to, I don't want to spoil it, so I don't want to get people ahead of me, um, working against me. Reach out to some people that have access to media. And I'm not talking like Channel 13, Channel 4. No, no, I'm talking much smaller, but they have a voice, right? They put something out there, people see it. And so I have a couple of things in mind, and I want to address it with them. Okay, and I'm going to be persistent with it. So I want to make sure that they contact me for one. Okay, I need a response. If I don't get a response, they're not going to take me serious. Even if I pour my heart out saying, this, whatever, my story. Well, I'm done doing that. So I need to be a little more divisive into finding a way to grab the attention of these folks. And that's what I'm going to do. By the end of the week, I'm going to update you guys, and I'm going to tell you guys which organizations I have reached out to try to do this. All right. But I have to do it because just yelling about it in general is not effective at all. It's not. Right. So I'm going to treat these people the way they want to be treated. All right. So if they want to be dismissive, then I'm going to treat them that way. Okay. Because that's what's happening. I said in my last post, a post before that, I said if naturally most people would refer a case like mine to somebody. So if you have a conscience and you have morals and you know somebody's in desperate need of something that is critical, like health, right? If you can't do anything about it, I would say most people will refer it to somebody who they think may be able to help. Right? So I'm expecting my elected officials, our elected officials, to do the same. And that doesn't happen because they have to operate by a process, an SOP, right? And so they tried to take everything in stride. So something comes up, they have so many complaints a day, so many that add up in a month, and they have to treat them all the same. They have to give them some sort of attention and move on. So I figured the best time to do it will be about this time during the midterms. So if they don't want any negativity, then they need to make an effort to give me just a little bit more attention for what I'm claiming, right? Like for instance, for example, hey, we're going to follow through with it, but we can't do it until after the midterms. I mean, there's lots of ways for for them to address my case. Right now, they're I'm trying to inform them to catch up to me. I mean, I'm having Kirsten Cinema telling me that I need to file an OIG report, which is basically filing, which I've already done in the past, I believe several times, to have the VA investigate. So it's like, they grab, somebody that supposedly does this, and they come up with a paper that has stuff on it that says, well, we looked into the case, and we're going to stick to what has already been going on. He's complained about this, he's complained about that, and we did this and we did that. So there's not much more we can do. So let's just label it as yeah, he's an anomaly, and we have already addressed this, and we're going to move forward with his claim at this point. You see? So, my efforts have been very lame because of things like I just mentioned, and it's important, like PVA, Paralyzed Veterans of America, Wounded Warrior Program. You guys can come up with all the programs, right? They have some sort of association with the people I'm having the most trouble with. So they can't exactly drop the VA and say, well, we'd rather work with Sergeant De Leon retired here, and we don't want to work with the VA anymore. See, they're not going to do that. And they would be, it would be wrong for them to do it anyways. They help more veterans by being associated with them somehow, but it absolutely does not help me at all. So then who do I reach out to, people? I need somebody to give me an answer. Who do I reach out to? I'm already reaching out. I'm going to list it. I'm already reaching out to our elected officials, our dignitaries. I've reached out to the people I'm having the problem with, the organization, which is the VA. I've reached out to organizations tied, somehow associated with the VA, VFW, DAV, I mean, you name it. So how do I go about trying to get something or someone to to get my case and exploit it, basically, and say, look, let's stop hiding behind the reasons why Sergeant De Leon retired is not getting the care he needs. Um, uh, it's with these posts, I am really getting to the root of not knowing what to say anymore about asking for help, advocating for myself, um, trying to, in an educated way, trying to explain why what my claim's about, and put it in a nice little package and give it to everybody. All right. I have gone so far now to advocate for myself that I don't know if it's going to hurt me more than it's helping me. Sometimes it backfires on you. People think they come up with a reason why you're doing it. It's always a negative thing. All right. So I need options. I need to figure out how to deploy my authority or my privileges as a combat veteran, claiming that claiming on medical neglect through the VA. And the only thing I can come up with right now is the midterms. So, in a way, I don't feel right about doing it because I really don't want to deploy any negativity to the people that I vote for. I'm a Republican, and I pick a side. That's the way I see it. Okay, it's very simple, and I want to try and see if that's the game I need to play. Okay, what's Kirsten Cinema's thing? What was her one of her highlights of when she was running against Martha McSally? What was one of her highlights? You got to call the balls. You got to call it a strike. You got to call it a hit. You got I don't. I mean, it was something in that manner, right? You got to know when to call it call your balls. It's a strike. It's a home run. And so and I voted for Republicans in the office because they need to be in there now. But I don't want to, um, play the game and it hurt other people. But that's what's happening to me. I'm being hurt by it not being addressed. So I really do believe if somebody, and I need your guys' help, okay? I don't know how much more longer I can start doing these podcasts, but I need the community's help, right? Um, the I'm trying to get my brain to. I get into these stall. My brain lacks sometimes. It doesn't operate as I believe as it used to. I'm not sharp. I'm not quick. I'm having trouble with it. Um, but I do have, like I said, I have charisma, and I try to get my point across. But I have not been doing well, especially with what happened with them pulling my tooth and the upper tooth now, and it just has not been working out for me. I haven't been feeling well. I've been losing motor function of some stuff. I explained in my other post, but I got to do something, people. I have to do something to spark, to create some sparks to light this fire. Um, and it's it's been, like I said, 8 to 10 years that I've been following. I've been following the rules and regulations that people have been trying to address with me, and it's amounted to nothing. So now I have decided to see if I can do it for myself because um, literally no one that should be advocating for me is not. They completely dropped that ball. So if you guys could imagine the mental anguish I have been through just by not being, throughout the 8 to 10 years of things not working out, like joining the Wounded Warrior program. I'm using them because they are out there, trying to help veterans and, you know, reaching out to veterans and trying to change the way people view him now. It's gone through a couple of changes, but I have been dismissed through these organizations, um, and a lot of the times I'm being dismissed by these organizations that I would like to get help from, but it's going to be difficult because they are working with the VA to get a hold of veterans that need help and get themselves associated with all the stuff to help veterans. So being dismissed with a critical situation like myself, I almost feel like I need to throw up. I can't believe that because it got a little complicated. Because there are some vague, you know, documents that should have been put in, and some were put in, some were lost, and so it was a little confusing in the beginning. But that does not negate the fact that things need to be followed through with, especially if it's a critical situation. And I have a critical situation, folks. I need the help of people to try to get my case forwarded, move it forward. And I don't even mind if it's being moved forward, but it's going to take some time. At least it's in a plan, right? Like, hey, we can't get to it. Like, for instance, the midterms, we can't get to it because we're very busy with trying to get Republicans into the office, and we're doing all this stuff. So the time trying to help any veteran out would be it'd be a little more difficult. We can't exactly apply all this attention to you guys. So I understand that. But my situation's been going on for 8 years. How many midterms have I been through? So I'd like to get moving with this. And like I said, I'm going to try to exercise my privilege of whatever it is. I don't even know what it is. Do I even have privilege as a combat veteran? Apparently, people say yes. People, I see them on TV. That's all they talk about. Our veterans. If it wasn't for our veterans, hey, veterans, we have to take care of our veterans. They have to be respected. And, if it wasn't for anything else, that's all you would be talking about. So I'm confused. And so I definitely need your guys' help. I need the community's help now. And, I am going to see if I could create a couple of little sparks to start a fire during the midterms And I have to, people, I have to do what I got to do. So I got to point out that I'm not getting, and this is all truthful things. This isn't anything that is not truthful. I'm not getting the care I need that's supposed to be assigned to me as a combat veteran with a TBI, possible TBI, any kind of TBI. And so I'm going to push it during this term here. What is we got, like 20 days, 20 some days left, right? And if that's the only way I'm going to get attention the attention I need, not just attention. I can do that anytime. Like Kirsten Cinema, when you write your elected official, if you haven't written your elected official before and you have a situation, they will send out a general memo. Thanks for contacting our office. We will do A, B, or C, and if not, we will email you back at so and so, and we will try to address your situation as it is at hand. You know, always the general memo comes out first. So, what you're witnessing right now is a live, actionable engagement into which I need to address trying to just get the proper attention for my critical case. I mean, you're witnessing it. It's not. Um, it's not. It's not easy. All right, and I don't know how it's going to pan out. I got to reach out to these organizations that I have did this morning research, wrote them down, and I want to see if they could, do something. Do something. And get my name on a book, get it flashing so that people are like, oh my god, not this guy again, right? I mean, if our elected officials really think that we're stupid, you know do they really think we don't know what their MO is, right? um there are people, right? There are people themselves, so before they were an elected official, they should know, right? Some more people than others. So I got to do that before the end of the week. But I wanted to point out that, I know some people were pointing out on my podcast that, well, why don't you reach out to the Wounded Warrior Program and do it that way, or PVA and all these VFW and do all that stuff. But what happens is I'm informing you that because of their association with the VA, that they can't exactly, start throwing sharp knives at him because I want them to. If I have a complaint and I reach out to a Wounded Warrior Program, I can't say, well, you guys need to hate the VA now. They're not going to do that. The association is greater than my complaint, right? It's about helping veterans in general. It's about giving veterans an option. And that's a good thing. So I'm not blaming any of these organizations at all for not being able to extend themselves. But I do blame them, okay, for not following through with keeping me aboard, with saying, hey, you know what? Why don't you just come out and explain it to me? Explain it to the people that you're having problems with. Like, for instance, that's a situation, right? Like, hey, well, why don't you just come out, call me up and say, hey, look, we have somewhat of a, it's a conflict conflict of interest because, we deal with the VA. So this is what we want to do, right? This is what we want to do. So that right there, people, alone, that kind of communication, that kind of um, um, insight would would be, to me, and I'm sure to other veterans, would be very much accepted. I would be happy, not happy, but I would be very pleased if if Wounded Warrior Program would call me and say, "Hey, look, I know we have a conflict of interest here because we are associated with the VA, and we can't exactly hate on them. They can be constructive, but it only goes so far." And so I'm not asking them for them to do that. And that's part of the problem. I don't need these people to start telling me, and I've already been through it. Hey, we can't do this and you won't understand because we got to do this and that, and they act as though I at one, I haven't been through it. I have been through it already. I have been involved with the conflict of interest with two organizations, trying to get one of them to help me, but since they're associated. So I don't need somebody to explain to me like a kid, hey, there's a bit of an issue. What I need is, what can you do for me without having conflict of interest? What can you do? There's got to be a way. There has to be, people. I know there is. Okay. And part of it, as I'm trying to tell you, part of it is just merely following through with saying, hey, you know what? We're going to try some things, but we do have a conflict, and we're going to try to find a way to address it. Because one, that tells me, like you guys, Wounded Warrior Program states on TV, we don't leave anybody behind. Well, that would be a good statement, a reason to show people, yes, look, we're not going to drop you just because we have a conflict of interest. We're going to move forward with this because that's who we are. And you, as a combat veteran, more than deserve for somebody to address your critical case. Right? So, and that happens. That's got to happen with all the organizations. But again, you have people like for Debbie Lesko. I was arguing with her office staff because they didn't know how to exercise the options they could offer me. They didn't know how to sit there and troubleshoot a way to keep engaged with me. Instead, a no was a no, right? I mean, I was treated as though, um, I was treated to abide by what they knew, and I was already past them. I was past dealing with certain things and the SOPs and stuff, and I needed these people to move forward with me, right? Well, you couldn't do this, but how about this? Hey, you know what? Let's stay engaged and let's see what kind of options we can come up with. Okay. So it's all a matter of time. So in that information you guys got, that's one of the reasons why I can't get anywhere. Okay. And so it's a shame because the organizations are good, right? The organizations are good. They just don't have the proper staff to fully engage with people like myself who need active options, things that are going to move forward and keep it moving forward, right? So, and that basically what's going on with the VA also. VA doctors, the gatekeepers of solutions, right? The solutions for them are standard operating procedures. They're not going to go around a standard operating procedure. They're just not. So I'm supposed to be aware of that. I'm supposed to acknowledge that and already know that that's what happens. But who does that? No one, right? We just go through the motions and we're denied or we're having problems with it. So this podcast, I'm trying to figure out a way to exercise my privileges and use it in a effective way, right? Use it in a very effective way. Well, how do I do it in an effective way? Do I need to play the game? Absolutely, I need to play the game. I need to play. I need to play the political game. I do. I have to do it. Start complaining about my situation at their worst time, right? Will it be effective? Probably not, right? It probably won't move it much. What it will do is, our dignitaries will, they give it to their staff, and they always give it to the senior staff, somebody who's usually in the service or was working at the VA at one time or something, and they take control of it from that point on. So I'll see if I can do something, but um, I think it's a good, they look. Well, I don't have any choice but to try to get the attention from them at this point in time during an election, and I'm going to reach out. So I'll inform you guys. Okay, I'm going to inform you guys of who I reached out to you, or who I reached out to, and what it's if they responded to me, if we have something going on, or there's no communication, no correspondence whatsoever. So I'm going to let you guys know at least by Saturday. Okay, so I'm going to get busy on it today, and so that way I can file for these complaints and see if I can get some of these people to acknowledge that I'm having a problem and they're not helping me during the midterms. So, and the most that will happen, people, is that, they'll say, well, after the midterms, or, yes, we'll try to address your situation. And if I'm still in office, we'll contact you. So, that's what will happen, right? That's what will happen. So, but I got to do it. I have to do it. So, um, with that being said, I was scratching myself, and I had to put this napkin thing in there. But I today's Taco Tuesday, so I'm going to try. I'm going to try and get something moving, and if you guys can help me, please throw it out there to, Doug Ducey. I just want somebody other than myself to send somebody an email. It doesn't have, I mean, please, it doesn't have to be a story. All it has to do is, hey, this guy podcasts, Sergeant De Leon, he's complaining about, his medical care to the VA and he's being medically neglected. Please look at his podcast. That's all. And it's got to come from different sources so that way, they see that other people are paying attention to it than them. All right, so that's what I'm going to do. I got to get busy on it. And so it's important for me to do it. So thank you guys. It's going to be a short stream. Thank you guys for paying attention. I will get back with you by Saturday and let you guys know the progress. Okay? All right.